This is real. This is as real as it gets, right? Allied swine. You've traveled 1,000 miles to die, only to die at the hand of Master Man. Now you can see, homie is clearly represented to the fullest. His costume alone is letting you know exactly 100% what I'm all about. We really need a Superman right here, right? We really could have used Superman. Let me clear some of these images out here because it's some great characters and some great thought-provoking storylines. It's nice to know where these stuff comes from and how influential it was. So I mean, like we around Marvel, we've got a ton of like core characters that were linked into stories about the Nazis. Why do they keep doing this? Well, because this was the easiest and purest villains that you could have, and this wasn't like this was also historically. This also coincides. Obviously, soldiers were at war, right? War was I'm not gonna say war was great for comic books, right? Because that's a terrible thing to say. But comic book fit soldier lifestyle, right? Soldiers, okay, you're away from home, you're living off of like letters and sharing stories amongst each other, and then comic books. And the reason why, obviously pamphlets and stuff like that, short stories were always great, but comic books were something like these guys were the first big audience of comic books. We're soldiers who were at war, U.S. soldiers particularly. It was easy for people to send this stuff to you. It was easy to get it out, easy for them to share. So this is kind of what we were seeing out of comic books at this time. It was also heavily like, let's make sure that we're staying on code with morale. So it was a comic books have always been, or at least started off as a very cultural and very motivational thing. Like whatever we were going through early on, they were really tied into our culture and just kind of making us continue to feel, as a country, especially during wartime. That's something that we really wanted to have. I'm sorry, I lost my logo here, so I want to make sure I get this back up on screen, right? So I want to know everybody know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. This is Mythlabs, right? Okay, so I've done, I think, a reasonable job of kind of breaking out, all the Marvel characters that are born out of this, and that's not even it, right? I could literally stop right now and consider this kind of a successful session, right? But that leaves out DC's contribution to it as well, and DC is even more bedrock. This is the golden age of DC Comics. Nobody is more baked into this than DC at this time. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to highlight why. Now, I talked about, obviously, Superman being like the main dude before, even as they saw fascism kind of building up, this is where Superman gets created, right? And so that's kind of an easy one to talk about is Superman. But I'm gonna do you guys even better than this one, right?